Hi, I'm Krista Johnson. I'm going to go through my warm-up here with Georgia before I get on and ride if everything checks out. I'm going to start by having her park in front of me. Get her squared up first. I'll send her out to her right, out on a circle. I'm just going to test some things out. She handle a little bit of energy here from the stick and string and not get too phased by it. It's pretty good. Can she trot off of a feel off of my rope? Yes, she can. She's not relaxed about it yet. Give her a minute to work that out. I can come in and I can help her using the rein, pointing it behind where the stirrup is to talk to the hind feet a little bit. There she came down to the walk. That's okay. I'm just going to ask her to trot again. I want her to relax. Did a little bit of a warm-up before we saddled, but I hadn't moved her much before we started the camera here. I noticed she's a little bit tight in her jaw. There she just licked, chewed. Now she's going to relax a little bit. What I want in her period of gait is I want her driving those hind legs forward. I want her thinking forward. And I want her relaxed. I want her eye to be either level or slightly below or with her. She doesn't have to put her nose in the dirt, but when they lift their head up high, they're kind of more in an escape mindset. They're tight, tense, bracy, looking for an escape rather than thinking about going forward and relaxing. She's a little tight there, so I'm going to help her with my rein. Just putting a little feel back behind where the stirrup is. She gave me a little bit more bend there, but I don't want her to lose the forward, so I'm going to give her a little bit of direction forward on my rope. Talk to the hind feet a little bit here. Remind her to go forward. Talk to the hind feet there. I'm noticing she's getting heavy. I'm going to attach this rein to the hind feet a little bit better, see if I can get her to be a little bit more light. I'm wanting her back feet to go around on a bigger circle and her front feet to slow down more, be on a smaller circle, but I want her to be going forward. She's not particularly great at it yet, but she's getting better and better. The good part is it tells me kind of where she's at with how relaxed she is, how much she's thinking about what she's doing with her feet versus just thinking about escaping. There, I want her to be following that rein already. She's not. That's where I'll support her with my stick and point my stick handle towards that halter knot. Can she trot off of a feel off the rope? Yes. See if she can relax. Can she handle a little bit of energy from my stick? Not lose her mind, not do something different. She just needs to trot a circle to her left and relax. She's getting a little worried about the stick and string, so I'm going to keep doing it until she relaxes. It doesn't mean anything. There, she started breathing a little bit, licking and chewing. I add a little bit more energy. Have her not worry about it. Have her not get off course. It's a little bit windy out here today, so I really want to make sure I'm testing these things out. I didn't ask her to go faster. Didn't ask her to buck. But good thing I'm warming her up. I just want her to go forward until she gets that out of there. We can go back to getting her to relax at the trot. She's pretty amped up, is not going to. I'm going to talk to those hind feet some more. She's thinking I mean stop. I don't want her to stop too much because I want her to find comfort going forward. Horses that buck and or rear typically have trouble finding comfort moving forward. That's why I'm being so particular about getting her to relax in that trot, be able to handle a little bit of energy with my stick and string. I didn't do enough things to her to make her really break into and kind of buck like that, but she kind of failed that test. She passed the first time at the walk, then the trot she had a little bit more trouble with that. That's better. She's licking and chewing. Send her back to the left. Ask her to yield her hindquarters around her front end. Then yield the front end around the back end. Go forward. Ask her to trot. I didn't like that transition. I can be particular. Ask her to come back down to the walk. I don't like how her nose is towards the outside of the circle there. She does have a little bit more trouble bending her ribs, going to the left. Let's see if I can get a better trot transition that time. That was better. So when she puts her head up and her nose out, I give her a little bit of support here with my rein, putting that little bit of feel behind where the stirrup's at, trying to talk to her hind feet, just encouraging her to relax, maybe bending her ribs a little bit while she's driving forward. If she wants to stretch down and relax, I'll give her more rein, leave her alone. If she gets tight again, I'll give her some more support. Kind of look for that purity of gait, get that relaxation, then I'm going to give her that little distraction test again, see if we can pass it this time going to the left. Seems like right when she gets around this side of the circle, she gets tight for some reason. That was better. I'm kind of pointing my stick towards her rib cage there, trying to encourage her to yield her ribs a little bit, to bend those ribs a little bit. And that helps her relax a little bit when she finds it. But I want her to commit to it more than she is. That was better. Let's see if we can pass a little distraction test here. That was much better. I don't want to be swinging my leg up over her. She's having a hard time with just the stick and string. She got a little bit better purity gait there. She's relaxed a little bit more, so now I'm going to actually ask her to canter. And I elevate my hand, put 3 beats in the rope in time with that front left. I'm elevating my hand because she has to elevate her shoulders. There I'm actually going to encourage her to relax more in the trot because as soon as I thought canter, she got tight. So I'm going to abandon that canter transition until I get that relaxation back. Because if I just punch her up into that canter transition when she's tight, it's just not going to be great. And I'm not really setting her up to have success and relaxation. Now I'm going to ask for it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. She's actually counter flexing there, which is going to make it harder for her to pick up that left lead, especially on this small of a circle. I'm going to keep working my rein here, trying to encourage her to relax. Use that hind end more. And I'm going to ask again for that canter. 1, 2, 3. Notice as soon as I ask for her, she counter flexes, gets tight, throws her head in the air. I want to fix that first before I ask again. This isn't really a video on how to get her to canter better by any means, but I do want to test it out in my warm-up, especially since she already bucked in the warm-up on the distraction test. I want to make sure she can canter and keep it together when I ask her to before I climb up there. There she goes. She took about 2 strides, but they were pretty nice, and it was really thoughtful, and she was thinking about it. She didn't commit to it. She went to go to counterflexing again, broke down to the trot, but I want to reward her. Those nice 2 steps she gave me. I'm going to ask for it again, see if I can get that nice trot. That's not a nice trot. There she goes. I'm happy to give her more rope when she stops counterflexing so much. You see me shorten up my rope quite a bit to try to help her stop that counterflexing. I want her to bend in her ribs better going to the left. Ask her to canter again. So I'm bringing my rein hand kind of down back behind where the stirrup would be. If I bring my hand down more, that seemed to help her a little bit more that time. Shouldn't have to have her nose in the dirt, but anytime she wants to stretch down her top line, I'm going to allow that. She's blowing out. See if we can canter. 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just looking for any change that when I ask for that canter, that she's not immediately going to counterflexing and putting her head in the air. It is tough to canter on this small of a circle, but she's a really athletic horse. I know she can do it. It's just harder to do when she's tight. So I'm going to try to help her. Get her to relax a little bit more so she can pick up that left lead. I didn't want her to break down on the walk there, but I'm just working my rein kind of back behind where that stirrup would be. Try to encourage her to relax. See if we can canter. Might drive behind with my stick here. Push that hock forward. She stretches down more. I like that, but I don't like how she's counter-arced and getting really heavy in my hand. So I'm going to address that issue of her getting heavy on the rope now. How I'm going to address that, I'm going to get her to yield these hindquarters around a small circle. I want her to slow her front feet down a little more than she is, but it's something we're still working on. I want her to be less heavy on that rope. Follow that feel, make that turn. I'm going to do the same thing on this side because I want to work on that left side because she's having trouble with it. I'm just going to ask her to yield around. We'll just change the direction the same way. There, I want her to be following that feel on the rope already, and she's not. There she goes. Let her find that nice relaxation. See if she'll commit to it a little bit more. I'm giving her more rope so she can do that, so she can stretch down. I don't want her to feel like she's running into the rope while she's trying to relax. I'll even stretch my hand down to encourage it. Gives her a little bit more rope. I don't want her pulling on me out there though. I'm going to ask her to canter again. As soon as I ask, she put her nose to the outside. It's going to make her harder time for her to balance herself, picking up that left lead. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I don't want her to think canter means go faster. Canter means shift your weight, do something different with your feet. I'll make sure she understands that I am wanting her to canter. I'm gonna do that again. If that's gonna cause her to buck or kick out. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I don't want her to think that means kick out or buck. That's why it's so important to test out that canter where I get up there. We're not going to work on perfecting the canter at all. And that'd be a whole nother session. I'm going to give her that little test there. See if she can yield her hindquarters with all that extra energy and her getting a little emotional out there. I don't want her to stop there, so I am going to send her the other way. I don't care if we walk. But I want her to find relaxation going forward. I'm going to defend my space here and just own it with my stick. That doesn't mean go faster, that just means don't be there. She got emotional about that. I'm going to ask her to walk. How I asked her to walk, I just used my rein hand, pointed it behind where the stirrup is, just like I was trying to get her to relax in the trot. But I had a different feel about it. I got in and got out. If she doesn't listen to that, then I can support with my stick. Now she's already gotten emotional about that canter. Not asking her to trot. If you've watched my boundaries for riding and groundwork communication, you know that her nose is supposed to be behind my belly button. So here she's ahead of me. I want her to keep me in the saddle, even though we're on the ground here. I want to be right where the saddle is. So I have that rein angle. It's going to be similar if I was actually sitting in the saddle. She's getting all worked up about this, so I'm just going to do it more. I'm just saying don't be here. Add a little extra energy to it, and she's failing that distraction test again. This is not the first day we've worked on this. She just tends to get emotional, especially in the canter. She used to get emotional at the trot quite a bit. She's getting better about staying emotionally collected or getting there faster now, but the canter is an emotional gait for horses because it's a runaway gait. There. If I want to shut her down as far as the trot, I can come out in front of her nose and say, hey, don't be there. Don't get ahead of my belly button. Don't get too far behind my stick. Don't be here. She can't handle that little energy from the stick here when it's not even touching her. She's probably going to be more anxious and overreactive about my leg when I get up there. I don't want that. I want my leg to mean yield. Legs don't always mean go faster. Right now she's telling me if I get up there and she feels my leg, she might go faster. I want my legs to mean yield. So considering that I'm warming her up for a ride right now, I've only had one ride on this horse last week. She's failing this test right now. If we can't work this out in this warm-up, I wouldn't ride her. I want her to pass this little test if I get up there and I touch her with my leg and ask her to yield, whether it be her hindquarters or her ribs or her forequarters, and she thinks everything means go faster. See how ahead of my belly button she is? I haven't asked her to go faster. I'm just asking her to walk and not run into the stick. Now, until she figures that out, I kind of have to keep waving it. Otherwise, if I put the stick away, she's going to think going faster means what that must have been what that meant. Let her think about that again. I'll test her out. This isn't about getting her to go around in endless circles. But I'm going to test a lot of things out while I'm here because I want to have the ride be a good experience for me and for her. And she's already bucked twice during this warm-up, so I definitely want to make sure I've tested everything out so I don't have to go for that ride if I can help it. I can ride her from right here. Test all these things out. Does this rein connect to the hind feet? There, she's heavy. I ask her to yield this hind end away. Yield to that rope. There, she's already putting pressure on that rope. She's not following it. She's heavy. There, she's yielding. See if we can pass the test there. She's failing it already. I say, slow down. I didn't ask you to trot. If I asked her to trot, I'd put a feel on the rope forward to encourage that snap to kind of go out in front of her nose. Or I could either walk a smaller circle or speed my feet up to ask for that trot. It would do the same feel on that rope. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying don't be here. And I'm not touching her with that stick. She's well out of the boundary there, but she's just being overly sensitive and reactive to that. I don't want that hair trigger with my legs when I get up there. I want her to think, what does that mean? Figure it out and find a way to yield to it, not just react and blast forward. So she's failing this test pretty bad over and over again, so I'm just going to keep working on this, and maybe this is all we'll get to today. The important part is that she can think her way through pressure, that she can yield to pressure. She almost kept it together there, and then she didn't. That react to pressure are not safe to ride. They're not safe to handle. They need to relax, think their way through it, and yield. Even if they don't yield the proper way the first time, they need to think their way through it and not lose their mind if you gently correct them. I'm going to test it out. Not putting any different feel on the rope. I'm just swinging this. Not what I'm wanting, so I'm going to shut it down. If I was asking her to trot, she's reading my mind a little bit. Either that or just falling into that hypnotic rhythm that I walk a few steps and something happens and I go into the trot because I'm not emotionally collected little pattern we got going here. Or she's licking and chewing. If I wanted her to trot, I'm going to put that feel on the rope. If she doesn't follow that, I'm going to come out and push the hock forward. That's a different feel. And if I say walk to the left on a circle, don't push on me, don't pull on me, do nothing with my rope hand, and just draw out this boundary here. That was better. Let's see if she's going to commit to that though. That was better. 3 times in a row. I'm going to stop her there. Let her think about that. But that might be all we get to in the warm-up today. I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about doing my best to prepare her for a ride so she can have a good experience and I can have a good experience. The better experience that they don't need negative experiences if we can help prepare them for it. If she starts failing some of these tests, she's given me too many red lights, so I probably won't ride her today. But I'm just going to keep working on some of these things to see if she'll mentally commit to that little distraction test and be able to stay emotionally collected. Because right now, in the last 10 minutes or so, I've been working on getting her emotions under control. If I don't have her emotions relaxed, her mind's going to be elsewhere, and the physical is not going to work either. So I like that she's blowing out here. I want to give her some time to think about this, but we'll just stand here and hang out for a moment. Thank you for joining us.